Wow.
Ho, ho, ho.
I said my bottle looks a little bit suggestive there, doesn't it, really, I suppose?
You in your bottom half again.
I'll move it.
And on that bombshell, we welcome you to the Christmas edition of the Nudge Report.
I moved it now.
Steve, Ian and Carl are with you to look ahead at the festive period, to look back on a away win at Exeter, and of course...
Told you we'd win. You won't believe me. You won't believe me.
Unbelievable. It's that crystal ball, mate, you've got.
Yeah.
Works wonders.
At least somebody got something right. Boys, Exeter, I'll start with you. Before we go into the performance, Ian, was that painting over the cracks? Was that light at the end of the tunnel? How are we looking at this? Because obviously injuries, yellow card, the red card. We'll talk about the team in a minute. But performance-wise, from what you've seen, is it one to forget but take the points on board? Is there lots to learn? What have we learned from that performance?
That nothing changes and we still can't play for 90 minutes. The proverbial game of two halves. Forgettable first half, much better in second half. Did the job against a team that is struggling to put other teams away. Bit of a banana skin, but we overcame it. We've not learned anything, have we, really? Just good to break that poor run we've had. And if you win away anywhere in this league, it's a good result in it. So some teams won't get anything from Exeter. So we'll just take the points and run, I think. But we've no corners been turned, or we're not going to be shouting for rooftops, are we?
No. The starting 11 then, Steve. Obviously, Killip was in goal. Back three of the Juvigny, Hines and McCarthy. It looked like five in midfield with Corey O'Keefe and Georgie Gend out wide. Kelechi Nwakali in the middle with John Russell on one side, Luca Connell on the other, and up front, Keeler Dunn and Stephen Humphreys. Let's talk about Nwakali. We mentioned him before when he came on. We thought we saw good things. We thought he deserved at least a start in the league, but he didn't. He did on Saturday and opened the scoring for the Reds. I mean, is he laying a bit of a claim? I know your personal opinions, but we talked about it wasn't a game of two halves. Did anybody stand out? If so, was that perhaps Nwakali for you?
I thought all 11 stood out in first half. Being shite, to be honest. So whatever he said at half time, fantastic. Bottle it and use it again for the rest of the season because they came out with a completely different point of view and a different way of playing.
He threatened they'd have to do some extra work the next day, and they'd
more than likely,
yeah. That better pull my finger out.
No, they threatened him with Phillips coming back on Saturday. Second half, it was like watching a different side. I thought the back three, even though we were missing Earl and Roberts, actually didn't do a bad job. Pines didn't look as much like Bambi on ice as he does at times. McCarthy, I still don't think he's particularly very good. However, he did his job on Saturday, so you can't argue with that. Gent is Gent, and I still like him. O'Keefe, got to be question marks on O'Keefe going forward. Fair enough, but he's still a shocking defender, and I think we struggle in that position. Nwakali's got to start. Surely to God, he's got to start. Russell, I'm hoping he's helping Santa deliver his presents, to be quite honest, because apart from 2 or 3 decent games a couple of months ago, he's gone back to being the donkey. And I'm not being funny. They wouldn't have scored if he'd have stood still. He turned out at way and it hit his bloody leg. What's that all about? Absolute garbage. Connell needs to pull his finger out, but he's still probably the best midfielder weve got.
Midfield's poor, though, isn't it? Let's have it right.
Midfield's shocking. But then again, you've got DKD up front. He's not he's not a forward. How many more times do we have to say, leave Phillips wherever he is, bring DKD back into his position, Nwakali in middle, Connell on left, Humphreys, Watters up front. Watters came on, a little bit of a cameo, back from injury, still looks sharp, and that for me would be your front five. And surely to God, he's got to be looking at that.
league position, Ian. I mean, we're in 7th on 30 points, which is level with Bolton. Now, Bolton have played 2 games less, and Reading above us, who are on 31, have played a game less as well. So it's a little bit like an inflated position. Given the fact that we've been, rightfully so in my eyes, quite harsh about performances. I know we're picking up points, but the performances, especially 90-minute performances, yet to be seen. I mean, you're still in touch, aren't you? If you look at 4th, Huddersfield on 36, played 19, one less than us. I'll be finishing the year. I mean, we'll see where we are at the end of December, but going into the Christmas period, the 7th, it is decent, isn't it? Thanks, mainly thanks to a huge, decent, away performances. But in 7th, if you listen to us and you don't look at if you just listen to the podcast, you don't look at the table, you could be thinking we're talking about 2 different teams.
I think if we just could put a bit of consistency together, we'd be well up there. I mean, Bolton got beat by Wigan, which is nothing rare. They're their ultimate bogey side. But speaking to some Bolton fans, and they still want Everton out. Look at Reading, lost at home to Blackpool. Blackpool have put a couple of runs together. It's a very topsy-turvy league, with the exception of probably Wickham have been on good run, haven't they, in Birmingham. But generally, it's quite a topsy-turvy league. And anybody can come from nowhere and suddenly be in the playoffs or drop out. And I just think if we could we bemoan it every week that we're not playing for 60 minutes or 45 minutes, never mind 90. We could just sort this home form out and put a bit of a run together, play some consistency. I tell you, we'd be pushing for automatic because all the other teams are beating each other. There's no, it's there for the taking, but we just keep tripping up and slipping up and shooting ourselves in the foot.
I mean, Steve, if you'd have asked anybody at the start of the season, who do you think will be, in the top 4 come, mid-December before the Christmas fixtures? Birmingham sit comfortable in second at the moment, having played a game less. I mean, Wickham at the top. Wickham are tipped for relegation every single year before the ball is kicked. Do you think teams like Wickham will still be there at the end of the season, or will it be your Birmingham, your Wrexham, your Huddersfield? Do you think the teams that have
Birmingham's going to be up there because your Birmingham's got to be up there. They can't afford not to be honest. But they've spent money and they've got some outstanding players for League One. So yeah, they're going to be up there. Wrexham again, money to burn, decent-ish side, but nothing brilliant. But they're putting wins together. I think Wickham could probably be the same as Plymouth from last season. I mean, Plymouth came from nowhere last season, top at table and went straight up. So there's no reason why Wickham can't do that. I suppose sensible people will think that the form's got to drop off. They've not got world-class players or anything like that, but they've obviously got that bit of magic that a lot of other teams, especially us, don't have, and that's that can play together and that can put results together. Huddersfield, no, not necessarily. Huddersfield, I think, are in the same pot as us, Reading, Stockport. We're all much of a muchness. On his day, we can beat on anybody. But equally on his day, we're as like playing in Northern Conference. So there's that. It's that tight points between like whatever it is, 3rd and 8th or 9th or whatever. I won't even like to guess who we're going to do it.
And it's telling, isn't it, Ian, that the 4 teams last season, the ones that came up, Mansfield is in 11th, Stockport is in 5th, Wrexham are in 3rd. When you have that winning feeling, and you look at Mansfield, lost their biggest goal scorer to Barnsley, by the way. You invest, and or your recruitment is on point. It creates a culture, doesn't it? And that continues because a lot of people were doubting whether Stockport would, be able to perform. Mansfield have been there and have gone down. Wrexham is slightly different, maybe because of the ownership and the amount of money and everything else. And it comes back to what you said earlier. It's that consistency, isn't it? If you can win 3-4 matches on trot, home and away, you're right up there, aren't you? And you're fighting for it.
I'll tell you what the biggest thing is of those three teams, they've kept the managers. They've kept the managers, they've kept a consistency. They've probably kept, like say, DKD left Mansfield, but I think generally those teams have invested, kept the squad together. I don't think Stockport's changed that much. I don't think they let that many go. Wrexham play the same, but they've kept the managers. The managers have been there for a couple of years, and probably several years, I would have thought, and which we never seem to do. So we're always back to square one every summer, aren't we? And rebuilding a squad again. So we're back to square one in August, struggling to get into some form until about October, November, and it's just rinse and repeat. So I think, it's no surprise that you keep a settled backroom staff and coach and pretty much squad, and they can, certainly some of those teams that come up from League Two can settle in League One.
Yeah, I mean, there's not loads and loads of difference, and a couple of games can see you move 5-6 places at a time. Is it fair to say that, our South Yorkshire neighbours, Rotherham, in 17th and 23, underperforming, or fair to say?
Well, let's look at some of the teams that we've watched down, up to now this season. And Rotherham were one at worst. I'm not being funny. Whoever you've watched, I can't say there's anybody that's playing particularly attractive football. It's all pretty much, I mean, number of teams that's playing long ball, us included. I can't remember many games up to now that I can say, I really enjoyed that for the football. I've enjoyed it if we've managed to scrape a win. But footballing wise, I think they're all. I think we're back to being, take your Birmingham, your Wrexham out of it. It's back to being it's a pretty poor league. But I do think you should not say on point, because it's not X Factor and nobody's on point playing football. I think that's a disgraceful thing to say.
Not in Division 3.
Not in Division 3, no. And our listener, wherever he may be, is going to be on his 65-inch telly. Hopefully, he might even get a bigger telly this Christmas. Who knows? He don't want on point. He don't want, it's not Bake Off. Just saying. Don't be too sad about it, though, mate.
Feedback for you there, Carlo.
Yeah, a little bit of feedback there, mate. Don't take
gift.
it to heart. It's not as though anybody's listening, mate, so don't worry about it. Nobody cares.
Ian.
Hello.
Christmas
Hey, Ian, you all right, mate?
Christmas period, I'm always busy. Between now and the 4th of January, 5 matches, 3 at home, 2 away.
You're working.
3 at home.
Let's look ahead first. So we've got Leighton Orient coming to Oakwell on Saturday. And I mean, it's eat, sleep, repeat. It's the home form, isn't it? There's already a bit of a cloud of, oh shit, we're at home, which it shouldn't be. And then we've got Wrexham at home on the 1st of January and Crawley at home on the 4th of January. And in between those sandwiched are a Boxing Day away game at Bolton. And on the 29th of December, we are away at Peterborough. So 5 matches. How many points will Barnsley have gained over those 5 matches before they return?
I want to know how many days at work you're going to do in them 5 matches.
Me?
Well, I finish on Friday, and then I'm off on Monday the 6th.
Oh, there you go. You see, fantastic.
Sad life.
Unbelievable.
But when I'm at work, I am in work. I can't go golfing.
They can't find you. They can't find you. You're hiding somewhere.
Can't find him. Too busy doing quizzes. That's why. He's in bloody staff room drinking coffee and doing quizzes. We know what he's doing.
I don't go to the staff room. We don't have
Have you got your own? You've got your own room, haven't you?
I do Barnsley facts for quizzes and stuff. How many points, Ian? How many points?
I haven't got the foggiest idea, because it's such a Barnsley thing to do, to probably drop points against Leighton Orient, but we've got a good record at Bolton and Peterborough in recent times, and probably do Wrexham, but then drop points against Crawley, isn't it? It's just, we should be beating Leighton Orient because they are down below.
So we're having 3 against Leighton Orient.
Point at Bolton.
Okay.
Point at Peterborough.
5.
Wrexham
at home.
We'll beat Wrexham, won't we?
Go on,
1st of
mate.
January. Stuff that for a minute. New Year's Eve. Well,
So
does that
that's
mean
8.
you're ready for South Yorkshire?
That's 8. And then probably balls it up against Crawley.
So you're going for 8 points. So
8 points.
Ian's gone for 8 points. Then that's interesting. So I'm going to go Leighton Orient to point.
Hey, fingers and toes are out.
I've got everything out here, mate, but I can get to 21. Leighton Orient, you can have a point.
Yeah.
Nothing at Bolton, nothing at Peterborough.
Oof.
Possibly a point at Wrexham. Win at Crawley. So I'm going 5.
5 out of 5. 5 from 5 games. Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go the old Scrooge way. A win against Leighton Orient. I say we get a 1-0 win against Wrexham, but they're the only 4 points we'll get over this festive period. And that's how confident I am of 104.
I tell you what. You know that the Christmas.
That last remaining listener's just switched off now.
That's what I was just thinking.
Off now.
Christmas can be such a sad time for people, and we've just really, let's face it, tipped them over edge. We're going to be in papers all this weekend. Red's report caused unknown distress to people with their enigmatic conversation
But you see,
and uplifting game reviews.
This is where you're wrong, because if you are still listening, this is.
I tell you what, this shouldn't be called the Reds report. This should be called the Dreads report, because we just dread every fixture, don't we? Dread every fixture.
We did a bit of a quiz last week, so it was tenable last week.
It was terrible, did you say?
Well, it was, but tenable as well.
Oh, sorry.
We're going for player cards, right? So I'll explain it really, really shortly. I'm going to ask you for 2 Barnsley facts or stats, and I'm going to ask you which one, if the first one is higher or lower than the second one. It'll all make sense. You're playing against each other.
Against each other.
It's jolly, so we're not going to take things personally. So try things out.
Oh, yeah.
So I hope you're not on your phone, Mr. Andrews.
He's doing something.
I'll tell you what I'm looking for. I've seen some on Twitter today, and I can't find a striker, I think. I'm sure it's from Middlesbrough that we've been linked with. And I'm trying to find his name. And I can't remember. I'm sure he's from Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough strike. It's not Ashley. It's not
Ashley Fletcher.
Ashley Fletcher. Anyway, it were Isaiah Summit or other.
Rankin, is he coming back?
No, it's not Isaiah Rankin. Yeah, Isaiah Summit or other. And you know why they call him Isaiah? Because one Isaiah then another. Anyway, that's an old one. I haven't had that out for a long time. I haven't had that out for a long time. So I hope we sign him and I can use that many times.
Right.
I can't find it now. Anyway, I saw young lad from, I'm sure he were Middlesbrough. Anyway, obviously no will come at it because we'll have to pay money.
Yeah,
they'll not want mixed grill.
Well, unless DKD gets sold to Wrexham for 25 grand. Boys, are you ready for question number 1?
Come on, are you?
Excuse me. Have you got any dolly dealers to do the dolly dealing?
Is the number of Paul Heckingbottom player performances higher or lower than the number of internationally capped appearances or top internationally capped appearances by a Barnsley player? So you're looking for a player that was capped whilst playing for Barnsley. So which is the most capped Barnsley player? His number of caps, is that higher or lower than the number of appearances Paul Heckingbottom made as Barnsley player, not as a manager? So looking at Paul Heckingbottom first, what are we reckoning?
I reckon Heckie's higher than the international.
You're thinking higher, and
lower.
Steve says lower. Right. So Paul Heckingbottom, how many performances do we reckon?
Lower than how many international performances we had.
Right.
Good answer.
Who do you think is the most capped Barnsley player? So John Stones don't count because he don't play for Barnsley. Okay, we're looking for somebody who was capped whilst playing for Barnsley. So who do you think is the most capped Barnsley player?
Well, Russell's had a couple of performances he's been to Jamaica.
Yeah, good shout.
Devante Cole went, didn't he?
Yeah, But
how many? I'm just trying to think. Who else we've had?
Connell's played for Republic, although albeit
I'm looking for one player. So the
Oh.
one Barnsley player with the highest number of caps whilst playing for Barnsley.
All right, Styles.
Styles, okay. Yeah.
Good shout.
Good shout, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm still going lower though.
Which is a good point, Steve. Well done, because Ian gets the first point. Paul Heckingbottom. Paul Heckingbottom played for Barnsley 49 times. And the most capped Barnsley player is Jerry Taggart, who was capped 35 times.
Northern Ireland.
For Northern Ireland. Okay? So, 35. Is the number of Jerry Taggart international appearances higher or lower than the number of goals Conor Hourihane scored as a Barnsley player?
He was capped, 35 times, did you say?
Yeah.
I think Hourihane scored less. So Taggart's is higher than Hourihane's goal tally.
Stevie?
I've got to go lower, haven't I? Yeah, I'm going to go lower anyway.
Taggart is 35, which we know, and Conor Hourihane scored 29.
So I've won then.
Is that 2 for me?
How's that? I said he were lower. Does that not work like that?
No,
we've definitely lost that last
Taggart
viewer.
was higher than Hourihane.
All right.
And you went lower.
Yeah, but you went higher as though Hourihane scored more.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Taggart's international appearances higher or lower than the
It's a shambles,
Come
isn't
on.
it? Absolute shambles. Right.
Right.
Right, I'm going 3-1 against Leyton Orient. Devante Cole. Thanks very much. Ta-ra.
Right. Next. Is the number of goals Conor Hourihane scored, which we know is now 29, higher or lower than the number of minutes played when Hamill scored his wonder goal against Millwall at Wembley? He wants to come inside. That's what he wants to do.
Lower.
Against Millwall.
Yeah,
he
lower.
scored after. So I'm saying lower, but he scored after 29th minute.
Yeah, so the number of appearances is lower than the minutes Hourihane scored.
Yes.
Yeah, we're both going lower.
Yeah.
Hamill, right. Hamill. So we know the number of Hourihane scored is 29. Hamill scored his goal on 18.
Ooh,
I told you.
I thought it was late. I thought it was late
Now,
in the game.
this one, I
was still in bar. That's why I never saw it.
Is the number of minutes played, which we know was 18 when he scored that goal, higher or lower than the number of goals scored by Barnsley strikers this season?
Fucking hell, that's a lot.
And just for clarity, I've included Keeler Dunn. So 18. Is that higher or lower than the number of goals by Barnsley strikers? Keeler Dunn is included in that number.
I'd say higher as well.
Yeah.
Have we scored 18 goals between us?
No,
I don't know how to think. Who've we got? Who've scored?
Oh, Davis. Davis must have got 38. If you look on BBS, he's scored about 72.
I can tell you, Marsha scored 1, Waters 4, Cosgrove 1, Humphreys 4, Keeler Dunn 6, and that's 16. So 18.
We were right.
Yeah.
Hey.
Now then, so we're on number 16.
I were on point there, weren't I?
Next
Don't
one
go there.
Is the number of yellow cards received so far this season in the league higher or lower than Davies Keeler's Dunn squad number?
What's his squad number? I've forgotten.
40.
No.
What do you mean, no?
Yeah.
No, it isn't it? Yeah, Connell's 48. Yeah. I think it's the number of cards is higher than his squad number. I think we've picked up quite a few. Yeah, I think we picked up. If you think about, sometimes you pick 2 or 3 yellows up a game as a bare average.
Now then, mate, if I think about it, I'll go and support somebody else. I'm going lower. I don't think we've had 40 yellow cards.
Higher.
I can tell you that the number of yellow cards received so far this season in the league is 44.
Oh, it's not.
Smashed it. See?
I mean, Connell got 5 on his own.
But 4 of them he shouldn't have got, so I think we ought to mark them off.
In that case, you were absolutely correct.
Thanks,
and
Ben.
therefore you get no points. Right. And I thought because it's Christmas, I'll do the last one a bit Christmas themed. Do They Know It's Christmas Time was originally recorded in 1984. Was our finishing position that season higher or lower than the number of weeks that song was number one? So, Do They Know It's Christmas Time 1984? How long do you think that was in the charts? Oh, sorry, number one in the charts. Is that number higher or lower than our finishing position?
I'm sure we were about mid-table in we were mid-table in the old second division. So I reckon.
I was going to say I couldn't possibly tell you, but I can't because I don't, because I've just got the answers written down.
I weren't even in my teens in 1984.
What?
Come on, you just had your 21st birthday.
I think our position was probably about 10th or 11th. So that is more than the weeks. Weren't in number one for 10, 11 weeks, were it? So I say our position is higher, numerical, than the chart number one.
We're not classing the time either than it was re-released.
No, just that season.
Just 84.
Just 84.
Yeah.
So you're going higher.
I was only 10.
So you're going higher. So you're going higher then, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Ian is saying our league finishing was a higher number than that song was number one.
I'm going to go lower, just because. Dear me, I lost count at
the first one.
7:30. So yeah, lower. So yeah, because we finished whatever, and they were in charts longer than that.
Right. Okay. And Do They Know It's Christmas Time? Stayed number one for 5 weeks.
No fuck.
Barnsley finished that season, and I'll have to give an extra point, in 11th. So absolutely.
I'll tell you why I know that. It was the power of Google. I was watching the big match. This is how boring it was. Watching the big match revisited on ITV4. And it was a game from 1984. And I thought, oh, did we finish that year? So it came in handy, that, didn't it? In what would be championship now. Not bad, that, is it?
Very good. Very good.
Thank you.
To finish off then.
Ian's won, and it just goes to show that I can't count to save my life.
There's nothing new there, though.
Nothing new there at all, mate. Not at all.
On various platforms, we get called many, many names. We have people that react in a really positive way to all the episodes we put out. And I like to see us because of the...
Oh, you went all bit Clinton Baptiste on me then.
I'm getting one word.
I was sort of thinking, if we were part of the Nativity and we were the three wise men, what present or gift would we give to either the Barnsley team or the Barnsley manager?
I thought you meant Jesus.
Taken to the second half of the season. So if you could give one gift, one thing, I'll go first. Consistency. I mean, hopefully it's positive, because I don't want to go on the losing run of 12 because that's consistent. But
I think I'd go up to John Russell and put his boots on the right feet, because I'm sure that his boots are on wrong feet the way he plays sometimes.
What would you buy? Steve. What would I buy, Mr. Clark, for Christmas?
You don't have to buy something you could do.
I'm not buying bugger all, mate. There's no two ways about that.
Your pearls of wisdom. What would you give him?
My pearls of wisdom. I'd gladly share with him my views on his substitutions and his choices for midfielders. Perhaps I'd give him a hammer and chisel, and then he could perhaps nail Phillips to one of the benches until he actually manages to play a decent ball, or something like that. Not that I don't like Phillips. Don't get me wrong. He's had one or two decent. He's had one or two decent games
with the Christmas story.
I like to have Christmas spirit. I'd like to give Phillips some Christmas spirit.
Would you nail him to the cross then? To bench?
I'll tell you what, he can't get across in, can he? Let's be honest. Then again, none of them can. So,
Well, you heard it here first in the last episode of the 24th.
well, we finished. Is that it? We're never doing any more.
Ever.
He's tuned back in. We're all right. I've just heard Telly go on. All power's just dipped. A 65-inch kicked in. By Christ. Merry
Steve,
Christmas.
there's Phillips can't cross, so we might as well nail him to one, sticking with the Christmas.
You do realise that's not going to go down very well, don't you?
Yeah.
For our religious friends out there.
You could have given him anything you wanted, but you spoke from the heart, Steve. That's why we love you. And that's why all the comments we get, they always pick you out for speaking the truth. It don't get you anywhere, and I know you've had to increase
No, it doesn't.
It's
No,
only
right.
because he creates all these YouTube accounts and pretends to be somebody else saying Steve spoke right, good.
Do you know how many Twitter accounts I've got? 37. Is that higher or lower than how many passes Russell's made in the last 5 games? Let's have a think, shall we?
Much higher.
Much higher.
When I send you the WhatsApp group, episode goes live at such a time. That's when Steve forwards that to everybody at work, his kids, the neighbours, the dog sitter, everybody else, and say, don't forget to comment. Because all the comments we always get, if you look at YouTube, is Steve's got it spot on. Steve knows what he's talking about. That's when people might have.
And then you go on the BBS and they all go, Steve's a hunt.
Yeah, funnily enough, yeah. And that normally, I ain't being funny, but that's normally my mate Mick at Bleeding Work who puts it on. And he's still retiring in April, the miserable bastard. Unbelievable.
Boys, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure. We will take a little break because obviously next week is, I don't even know, it's Wednesday. Next week is Christmas Day, isn't it? Wednesday.
Today.
Yeah.
It is.
And then the week after is New Year's Eve or whatever is happening. So we will be back. Really, when
New Year's Day.
I've got the old space back. I can hear myself think, and I can go to the toilet without being interrupted by a 4-year-old saying, "Do you want to play a game on the Xbox, Grandad?" So yeah, wish us luck.
Answer's obviously yes. Of course it is. While I'm weeing, I shall play as well at the same time. Your joystick control is amazing, even when you're having a wee. Covered in piss. Hey, I got it in.
He's got it in. Yes. What a way to end the year.
There we go. Merry fucking Christmas.
You filthy animals. Thank you for listening to the Reds Report. We will be back in 2025. And if you don't like
if we're not banned,
as well as subscribing, you can unsubscribe and you'll never hear from us again. Who knows where you live. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. See you next year.